LeBron's going to be the face until he walks away. That's why the NBA Finals, if Big Vic would have, if Mitch Johnson would have been a real coach, if De'Aaron Fox would have been a real point guard, if Big Vic would have played like Big Vic the entirety of the series, the baton would have been passed. But because those ifs didn't now we got LeBron at 42 still being the most polarizing, engaging lightning rod for the league at the age of 42. This man had a full white beard playing golf, and he has the whole league on standby until he decides where he's going to play next year. Who else could it be? They tried to make it Victor Wembanyama. He wasn't ready. They have tried it with SGA. It's not going to happen with SGA. Low-key, it could be Ant, and that's why I think Ant and Bron teaming up would be more of it could be a real passing of the torch. If Bron goes to Minnesota, which I'm on the record saying I think that's the easiest lineup for him to fit into. If he were to go to Minnesota, he can kind of, not that Ant Edwards needs a mentor, but the fact that Rich Paul is his agent, which also kind of means LeBron is your agent, allegedly. But the fact that you could have LeBron and Ant teaming together, playing a whole year together, that could kind of be a passing of the torch of sorts, especially if they walk off with a Larry O.B. Because Ant has the personality. You need someone with some personality. The face of your league can't be boring. Baseball has learned that with Mike Trout. Mike Trout, it was at one point in time the best player in the world, but he was boring as shit, and the league couldn't monetize off of that. You can't have the face of your league being boring. LeBron, as much as his public persona is manicured, as much as he has been protected, as much as he has a clean reputation, but if you know, allegedly not so clean, but he's got enough things working with him and the machine needs him, so they're going to let a lot of things go by the wayside. LeBron is a entertaining personality, entertaining enough personality, right? Ja Morant was thought, nope, he's fighting kids in his backyard, can't have that. Zion was thought, nope, he's too caught up in BBW porn stars. All right, well, that can't work. The league has been struggling to find a face. Who's going to take the baton from LeBron? Who? If it ain't going to be Big Vic, who? If it ain't Ant-Man, who? It can't be Ja. It won't be Zion. Who? It ain't going to be Cooper Flag. I don't think any of the youngins that just got drafted, I don't think it's any of them. Who is the future face of the NBA? This is that period similar to post-Jordan and before LeBron, where you had a bunch of dudes. Yeah, Kobe was, some people will say Kobe. I think that's a little revisionist. But there was a period where it was Jordan. It was briefly Iverson. Even though the league wanted it to be Grant Hill, it was briefly Iverson. And then once it was not Iverson, you kind of had a bunch of dudes vying for it. Tim Duncan, but Tim Duncan, as great as he is, he was hella boring. They would have loved it for it to have been Yao Ming, but the feet couldn't hold up. Then when it was looking like it was going to be Kobe for an extended period of time, then Colorado happened. Then we got the LeBron thing rolling, and it's been LeBron ever since. So we're kind of entering that where it's like, all right, well, after LeBron, who we might be in a malaise for a little bit because we don't know who it's going to be. There's no one standing up saying, I want to be the face. I think Ant has the personality, but we know how Ant get down off the court. Even though he's not doing anything wrong, but public perception-wise, it kind of doesn't fit. That's why the Iverson as the face only lasted a few years. because of how he was moving off the court, even though, again, he was doing nothing wrong, but perception-wise, it didn't fit. Same with Ant. Now, if LeBron and Ant team up, he might get some of that public persona cleansing that he might need to be the future face of the league, but I don't know if Brown wants to hoop in Minnesota. Scrubsy on the chat. Also, this is on Adam Silver in the league for holding on to LeBron too long. Well, I mean, no, I'll push back on that because I think they tried to hand the baton. It's just Deuce tricked it off. They tried to give it to Zion. They tried to give it to Zion. He wasn't ready for it. He was undisciplined in terms of his diet and his women choices. Like, he was undisciplined. He wasn't. Could you imagine if they actually did give it to him and still did what he did? You know how bad the league would be in if Zion was actually the face of the league? And he goes from busting through sneakers to busting through BBW. I'm just saying, it would be a bad look for the league. It was even a bad look for the league even when he wasn't the face of the league and he still did what he did. So could you imagine if the keys were actually given to him? They tried to give it to Ja. They tried to give it to Ja. When it looked like the Warriors were declining and the Grizz were on the way up, they tried to give it to Ja. And then he couldn't handle losing to a kid in his own backyard, and then everything went to hell ever since. He couldn't stop showing guns on IG Live. He couldn't not feel a way losing in his own backyard. All the things went wrong. They tried. They want it to be Wemby. They are dying for it to be Wemby. That's why I thought they would have gone to greater lengths to fix the NBA Finals, to let it be Big Vic, so that LeBron could walk off. Not that he would have retired, but like, all right, it's not that important anymore. We got Big Vic. He's ready. But it hasn't been anybody. Giannis had that 1 year with the championship. He won back-to-back MVPs. It ain't even Giannis. It ain't even the Nigerian freak. Like, it's LeBron until he walks away. So Adam Silver and the NBA has tried, but the dudes that they have given it to have all tricked it off in their own way. Steph in the chat. The only other potential face there has been in 2012 was Steph. Yeah, see, here's the weird thing with Steph, right? Was Steph ever the face? He was certainly a baby face, like if we're doing wrestling terms. He was a baby face, but I don't know if he was the face. Because to say he was the face means that he trumped LeBron. I don't know if Wardell ever trumped LeBron. He certainly had a meteoric rise and a historic impact, and I still stand firm. Steph Curry ruined basketball. So he has that impact, right? But I don't know if he ever overtook LeBron as the face. He was certainly at one point in time the lead baby face. And baby face, if you're not familiar with that as a wrestling term, baby face means you're the number one good guy. Like you have your heel and you have your baby face. So you have your top heel, your top bad guy, your top good guy. If you want to tell me when the Warriors and the Cavs kept playing in the finals, Steph was the top baby face and LeBron was the top heel, I could listen to that with not a lot of pushback. But I don't think there was ever a scenario where Wardell was over LeBron. I could be wrong. Y'all let me know.